Jack Nicholson walked out onto the Tonight Show stage on May 15, 1992, and Johnny Carson knew right away that something was wrong. This night was supposed to be a celebration. It was Carson's last week on the show after 30 years. Jack was one of Johnny's favorite guests, one of his closest friends in Hollywood. They had done dozens of interviews together over the years. They were always fun, always full of energy, always unforgettable. But tonight, Jack looked different. He was wearing his famous dark sunglasses, but they could not hide how tired he looked. The way he moved was slow and heavy, like every step took real effort. The audience stood up and applauded. This was Jack Nicholson, one of the biggest movie stars in the world, fresh off A Few Good Men, at the very top of his career. But Jack barely reacted to the applause. He walked straight to Johnny's desk and held out his hand. Johnny stood up, shook it, and noticed how cold Jack's hand felt, how it shook just a little. "Jack," Johnny said kindly, trying to keep things normal. "Great to see you." "Great to be here," Jack said. It was his famous voice, but softer than usual, missing that spark, that edge. They sat down, Johnny behind the desk, Jack in the guest chair. The audience settled in, waiting for the magic that always happened when these two talked. "So this is it," Johnny said. "My last week, 30 years doing this show. And I wanted you here because you've been such a big part of it." "Wouldn't miss it for the world," Jack said. He tried to smile, that well-known Jack Nicholson grin, but it didn't really reach his eyes. "We've done what, about 20 interviews together?" Johnny asked. 23, Jack said. "I counted." The audience laughed, but something felt off. Something the people at home might not notice yet, but the people in the studio could feel. 23 interviews, Johnny said, and you've told some great stories over the years. Some I can't repeat on TV. More laughter. Jack nodded. "Yeah, we've had some good times." "You okay, Jack?" Johnny asked softly. There was real worry in his voice. "You seem a little different tonight." Jack slowly took off his sunglasses. The audience made a quiet sound, not loud, but you could hear it. Because Jack's eyes said what his words had not yet said. They were red and swollen, like he had been crying for hours, maybe even for days. "I'm not okay," Jack said quietly. "I'm really not okay." The studio went completely silent. This was not what anyone expected. This was not the fun, happy interview people had come to see. Johnny leaned forward. "What's going on?" "Can I tell you something?" Jack asked. "Something I've never said in public before?" "Of course," Johnny said. "Anything." Jack took a deep breath. "I came here tonight to do the usual thing. Tell some stories, make a few jokes, send you off the right way. But I can't. I can't sit here and act like everything is fine when it isn't." His voice was shaking. "My daughter tried to kill herself last week." The audience gasped, this time much louder. Some people covered their mouths. This was real. This was happening. Johnny's face went pale. "Jack, I'm so sorry. Is she? She's alive," Jack said quickly. "She's in a hospital in Los Angeles. They're watching her. They say she's stable. But Johnny, she's 17 years old. 17. And she wanted to die." Jack grabbed the arms of his chair. His hands were tight. His knuckles were white. "I found her. In her bedroom. She had taken pills, a whole bottle. She left a note on her bed. And I read that note before I called 911. I read every word. And do you know what it said?" Johnny slowly shook his head. He couldn't speak. "Oh, it said, 'I'm sorry I'm not enough. I'm sorry I can't be what everyone wants me to be. I'm sorry I'm just the daughter of Jack Nicholson and not someone who matters on her own.'" Jack's voice completely broke. "She thinks she doesn't matter. My daughter, the person I love more than anything in this world. She thinks her only value is being connected to me. And I did that to her. I made her feel that way." People in the audience were crying now. You could hear sniffing. You could see people wiping their eyes. Ed McMahon was staring at Jack, his mouth slightly open, stunned, frozen. "How did you make her feel that way?" Johnny asked gently. "By being exactly what everyone thinks I am," Jack said. "The party guy, the wild guy. Jack Nicholson who does whatever he wants, who sits courtside at Lakers games, who dates models, who lives this big, crazy Hollywood life." He wiped his face with his hand. "And while I was being that person, my daughter was at home, alone, trying to figure out who she was, trying to deal with being a teenager in Los Angeles, trying to handle school, friends, and all the normal stuff. And on top of that, having a famous father who was never there." Jack looked at Johnny. "I missed her 16th birthday. Did you know that? I was in Europe filming. I could have flown home. I could have made it work. But I told myself the movie was too important. The schedule was too tight. So I sent her a gift instead. A bracelet. Expensive, beautiful, and completely empty. His voice grew louder. And she wore that bracelet every day for a year, even when she was taking those pills, even when she was trying to die. She was wearing the bracelet I sent instead of me showing up. Jack suddenly stood up and started walking back and forth. I thought I was being a good father by providing, by making sure she had everything, the best schools, the best clothes, money, opportunities, everything I never had growing up. I really thought that was enough. He turned toward the audience. But it isn't enough, not even close, because what she needed was me. Just me. Being there, paying attention, caring about her life as much as I cared about my career. The studio was completely silent. Only Jack's voice filled the room. And I didn't understand any of that until I was sitting in a hospital room, watching my daughter sleep, watching the monitors, making sure she kept breathing, and I realized I couldn't remember the last real conversation we had. Jack sat back down, slower this time, like his legs couldn't hold him anymore. So I came here tonight because I need to say this. I need to say it publicly where I can't take it back, where everyone can hold me accountable. He looked at the camera. I've been a terrible father, and I'm done. I'm done being the party guy, done being the wild man, done choosing my career over my kid. From now on, she comes first. Everything else is second. His voice dropped to almost a whisper. If she'll even give me the chance. If she still wants a relationship with me after everything I've done wrong. Carson had tears running down his face, not trying to hide them, just letting them fall. Jack, she'll give you the chance. She's your daughter. She loves you. Does she? Jack asked. How would I even know? I haven't been paying attention. The weight of those words settled over everyone. Then something happened that nobody expected. Jack's whole body started shaking, not just his hands, his whole body, trembling like he was freezing. Jack? Carson stood up, concerned now, really concerned. Jack, are you okay? I haven't slept in 6 days, Jack said. His voice was slurring slightly. Not since I found her. Can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see her lying there, see the pill, see the note. He tried to stand up again, stumbled, caught himself on the chair. Jack, sit down, Carson said, coming around the desk now. You need to sit down. I can't sit, Jack said. Can't sit still. Can't stop moving. Because if I stop moving, I have to think about it, have to face what I did, what I didn't do. His breathing was getting faster, shorter. I can't breathe, Jack said. Johnny, I can't breathe. And then Jack Nicholson collapsed, right there on the Tonight Show stage, fell to his knees first, then forward, face first onto the floor. The audience screamed. Ed jumped out of his chair. Carson was already there, kneeling next to Jack. Get a doctor, Carson yelled. Someone call 911. The cameras were still rolling, capturing everything. The director didn't cut away, didn't go to commercial, just kept filming. This was real. This was happening. This was Jack Nicholson having a complete breakdown on live television. Carson rolled Jack onto his side, made sure he was breathing. It's okay, Carson said, his voice calm now, professional. You're okay. Just breathe. Just keep breathing. Jack's eyes were open but unfocused. I can't do this anymore, he mumbled. Can't pretend. Anymore. You don't have to pretend, Carson said. Not here. Not with me. Just breathe. A paramedic team rushed onto the stage. They'd been on standby in the building, standard for any live show. They checked Jack's vitals, blood pressure, heart rate, pupils. Panic attack, one of them said, severe, combined with exhaustion and dehydration. He needs to get to a hospital. If you're still watching this, if this story is hitting you hard, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And subscribe if you haven't already. Because this is what real television looked like. This is what happened when people stopped performing and started being human. Jack tried to sit up. The paramedics helped him, got him into a sitting position against the desk. The audience was frozen. Nobody moving, nobody speaking, just watching. I don't want to go to a hospital, Jack said. I want to finish the interview. Jack, you need medical attention, the paramedic said. I need to finish. This, Jack insisted. He looked at Carson. Please, let me finish what I came here to say. Carson looked at the paramedics. They looked at each other. Finally, one of them nodded. If his vitals stay stable, we can give him a few minutes, but we're staying right here. They helped Jack back into the chair, gave him water, oxygen, monitored his heart rate, and the cameras kept rolling. Why did you want to come back? Carson asked softly. Why is it so important to finish? Jack took a long drink of water. Because I need parents to hear this. I need everyone watching to hear this, especially the ones who think they're doing everything right. He looked directly at the camera. I thought I was a good dad. I really did. I provided. I protected. I made sure my daughter had opportunities. And I told myself that was enough, that my job was to give her a better life than I had. His voice was stronger now, clear. But I was wrong. Being a good parent isn't about what you give your kids. It's about being there, being present, knowing what's happening in their lives, caring about the small stuff as much as the big stuff. Jack wiped his eyes. My daughter didn't need a famous father. She needed a father who showed up, who asked about her day, who knew her friends' names, who cared about her problems even when they seemed small compared to movie budgets and premiere dates. He paused, and I failed. I failed completely, and it almost cost me everything. The audience was riveted, nobody looking away, nobody checking their watches. This was the most real moment many of them had ever witnessed. 3 days ago, Jack continued, my daughter woke up in the hospital, and the first thing she said to me was, "I'm sorry." She was apologizing to me for trying to die, for inconveniencing me, for taking me away from my important life. Jack's voice broke again, and I realized she'd learned that from me, learned that her problems were inconveniences, that she was less important than my career. I taught her that, every missed birthday, every canceled plan, every time I chose a movie over her. Carson was crying again. So was Ed. So was everyone. So I told her something, Jack said. I told her the truth. I said, "You are the most important thing in my life. Not movies, not fame, not money. You. And I'm sorry it took me almost losing you to figure that out, but I get it now. And I'm here. For real this time. Not just visiting, not just sending gifts. Here." He looked at Carson. "And you know what she said?" "What?" Carson asked. "She said, 'Prove it.' Smart kid, doesn't trust words anymore, only actions." Jack smiled through his tears. "So I'm proving it. I turned down 3 movies this week, told my agent I'm taking a year off, maybe more, however long it takes to rebuild the relationship with my daughter, to earn back her trust, to be the father I should have been from the beginning." The audience started applauding. Slow at first, then building, then everyone was standing, clapping, crying, supporting. Jack stood up, shakily. The paramedics stayed close, but let him stand. "I came on this show tonight because Johnny Carson has always been about honesty," Jack said, "about real moments, about being human on television even when it's scary, even when it's messy." He looked at Carson. "And I needed to be honest. I needed to admit I failed. Because maybe if I admit it publicly, I can't go back. Can't fall into old patterns, can't convince myself that work is more important than my kid." Jack walked over to Carson. They hugged. Long hug. Brothers, friends, 2 men who understood each other. When they separated, Carson spoke. "Jack, you didn't fail. You're human. You made mistakes. But you're fixing them. That's not failure. That's courage." "I don't feel courageous," Jack said. "I feel terrified. Terrified she won't forgive me. Terrified I'm too late. Terrified I've damaged her too badly to fix." "You're not too late," Carson said, firmly. "You're here now. That's what matters. You showed up. You're choosing her. That's everything." Jack nodded, wiped his eyes one more time. "Thank you for letting me do this, for not cutting to commercial when I fell apart." "This is what the show has always been about," Carson said. "Real people, real moments, real life. Not the performance, the truth underneath." They shook hands. Jack started to walk off stage, then stopped, turned back. "Can I say one more thing?" "Anything," Carson said. Jack looked at the camera. "If you're a parent watching this, and you're choosing work over your kids, choosing success over presence, choosing career over relationship, stop, just stop. Because I promise you, nothing you achieve will matter if you lose them." His voice was shaking again. "And you don't get unlimited chances. You don't get to keep putting them second and expect them to wait forever. Eventually, they stop waiting. Eventually, they stop hoping you'll show up. Eventually, they decide they don't matter." He paused. "My daughter almost died because she decided she didn't matter. Don't let that happen to your kid. Don't wait until they're in a hospital bed to realize what you've been missing. Show up now, today, this moment. Put down your phone, leave work early, cancel the meeting, and be there." Jack's voice was strong now, clear, final. "Because nothing else matters. Nothing. I've won Oscars. I've made millions. I've been on magazine covers and had people scream my name, and none of it means a goddamn thing compared to my daughter being alive, to having a chance to fix what I broke, to being her father for real this time." The audience was on their feet again, not applauding now, just standing, bearing witness. Jack walked off stage, slowly. The paramedics followed him, making sure he was stable. Carson stood at his desk watching him go, then turned to the camera. "We're going to take a break," Carson said, his voice thick with emotion. "And when we come back, I don't know what we're doing, but it won't be jokes, it'll be real. Stay with us." The show went to commercial. The studio lights dimmed, and for 5 minutes, nobody moved, nobody spoke. Everyone just sat there processing what they'd witnessed. When they came back, Carson was alone at his desk. No guests, no band, no Ed making jokes, just Carson. "What you just saw was not planned," Carson said to the camera. "Jack came here tonight intending to do a regular interview. But life doesn't care about our plans. Life shows up when it shows up, and sometimes all we can do is be honest about what's happening." He paused. Jack's daughter is alive, she's getting help, and Jack is doing everything he can to be there for her, to repair their relationship, to be the father she deserves. Carson's voice was steady now. But this isn't just Jack's story, it's everyone's story, because we all make choices every day about what matters, about where we put our time and attention and energy. And sometimes we get it wrong. He looked directly at the camera. "I've gotten it wrong, many times. I've chosen this show over my family, chosen work over relationships, told myself it was necessary, that I had to, that it was part of being successful." Carson smiled sadly. "But Jack reminded me of something tonight. Success means nothing if the people you love are hurting, if your kids feel invisible, if your relationships are broken. You can have everything and still have nothing if you've lost the people who matter." He leaned forward. "So if you're watching this at home, and you're thinking about someone you've been putting second, someone you've been taking for granted, someone who needs you but you keep choosing other things, call them, tonight, right now. Tell them they matter. Tell them you're sorry. Tell them you're going to do better." Carson's voice was thick again, because Jack almost didn't get that chance. His daughter almost died, and that would have been it. No second chance. No opportunity to fix it. Just living with regret forever. He paused. "Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until there's a crisis. Show up now. Be present now. Choose the people you love now." If this message is resonating with you, if Johnny's words are hitting home, share this video. Send it to someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment telling me what you're going to do differently, who you're going to call, how you're going to show up. The show continued for another hour. Carson took calls from viewers, people sharing their own stories, parents admitting they'd been absent, kids talking about feeling invisible, families committing to change. It was the most honest hour of television in Tonight Show history. And Jack Nicholson watched it all from a hospital room where they were monitoring him overnight, watched Carson turn his breakdown into something meaningful, watched viewers respond, watched people commit to being better. 3 weeks later, Jack appeared, on television again, not on a talk show, on the news. He'd organized a fundraiser for teenage mental health, raised $2 million in one night, donated it all to organizations that help kids struggling with depression and suicidal thoughts. "My daughter gave me permission to share her story," Jack told reporters, "because she wants other kids to know they're not alone, that asking for help isn't weakness, that their lives matter." He smiled, actually smiled, a real smile. "And she's doing better. We're doing better. We talk every day now, really talk, about her life, her feelings, everything I missed while I was being famous." A reporter asked if he regretted collapsing on The Tonight Show, if he was embarrassed. Jack shook his head. "That was the most important moment of my career. Not because it was dramatic, because it was honest. Because I stopped pretending and started being real. And that honesty saved my relationship with my daughter." He looked at the cameras. "So no, I'm not embarrassed. I'm grateful. Grateful to Johnny for giving me the space to fall apart. Grateful to everyone who watched and didn't judge. Grateful for the chance to start over." Johnny Carson retired 1 week after that interview with Jack. His final show aired on May 22, 1992. And in his final monologue, he mentioned Jack. "A week ago, Jack Nicholson came on this show and showed us what real courage looks like," Carson said. "Not the movie star courage, the human courage. The willingness to admit you've failed, to ask for help, to change." He smiled. "That's what I'll remember most about this show. Not the jokes or the famous guests or the ratings, but the moments when people were brave enough to be real. When they stopped performing and started being human." Carson paused. "Jack taught me something in that moment. He taught me that it's never too late to choose differently, to show up, to be present, to put the people you love first." He looked at the camera one last time. "So that's what I'm doing. I'm retiring not because I have to, but because I want to. Because I want time with my family. Time to be present. Time to be more than just a TV host. Carson smiled. Jack made me realize life is short, and we don't get unlimited chances, so I'm taking mine. I'm choosing the people I love, and I hope you'll do the same. The show ended. Carson walked off stage, never hosted television again, lived quietly for 13 more years, spent time with family, was present, was there. Jack kept his promise, took a year off, spent it rebuilding his relationship with his daughter, went to therapy together, talked through years of pain and absence and misunderstanding, slowly, carefully rebuilt trust. His daughter graduated high school, went to college, became a therapist herself, now works with teenagers struggling with mental health, uses her own story to help others, tells them about the night her father collapsed on television, about how that moment changed everything. My dad could have kept pretending, she tells her patients, could have kept being the famous guy who had it all together, but he chose to be real, chose to admit he was broken. And that saved both of us. She smiles. So you can be real too. You can admit you're struggling. You can ask for help, and that's not weakness. That's the bravest thing anyone can do. The footage of Jack's collapse still exists. NBC kept it. That night on May 15th, 1992. When Jack Nicholson fell apart on live television, when he admitted he'd failed as a father, when he committed to changing, when he showed America what real courage looks like. People still watch it, still share it, still cry when they see it, because it's real, because it's honest, because it's a reminder that even famous people struggle, even successful people fail, even people who seem to have everything can lose what matters most, but also because it shows that change is possible, that admitting failure is the first step to fixing it. That being real is more powerful than being perfect. That's what Johnny Carson understood. That's what Jack Nicholson proved. And that's what that night showed America. The truth matters more than the performance. Being human matters more than being famous. Showing up matters more than anything else. If you made it to the end of this story, thank you. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss stories like this. Real stories, human stories, the moments that matter. And if this story changed how you think about being present in your own life, let me know in the comments. Tell me who you're going to call, who you're going to show up for, how you're going to choose differently. Because that's what Jack did. That's what Johnny encouraged. And that's what we all can do. Show up, be present, choose the people we love. Before it's too late, before we lose our chance, before we have to live with regret. That's the lesson. That's what matters. That's what truth Jack Nicholson collapsed trying to tell us. And that's the truth that can change everything if we're brave enough to listen.